All right. Ugh. All right. Let's see. Are we going yet? Are we good to go here? I should be going any moment now. You know what? I hope I didn't start this as a private event. Yeah? What's up, buddy? What is it? Yeah? What's up? Yeah? All right. How is everybody? See, all right, cool. We're live from the studio. Just the office. I felt like I wanted to do a big introduction there. We're live from New York. This is Thursday Night Code. All right, so now that we're done with the cringy introductions, I appreciate everyone tuning in. For those of you who are new to the channel, what I like to do is every 1,000 subscribers, I like to have a live stream where I essentially say welcome. Thank you for deciding to join the channel, to subscribe, and I like to answer your questions and help out in any way that I can. In my when I was studying code, I always wished that I had somebody I could kind of pop questions off back and forth and just kind of ping, say, hey, how is how is this, what are your thoughts about this, and what are your thoughts about that? And sometimes I'll tell you this is a good choice, sometimes I'll say that is a bad choice, and sometimes I will tell you I don't know, and that's okay. So it's okay, guys. In software, it's okay not to know. There's so much to know that you're better off just saying I don't know, and going from there. So thank you guys to the first 24,000 of you who have been here, and thank you to the new 1,000 of you who are the newbies. So welcome. Now, Emilio, welcome. Mark, we are at 25,000 subscribers. This is exciting, right? So I'll have a video coming out in the near future called basically talking about goals and 3 of my goals. And one of those 3 goals is to get to 100,000 subscribers by 2020. We're a fourth of the way there. We just need to pick up our pace a little bit to get there. But I'm very happy with the channel, and I'm putting a lot of time into it, and got a couple things going on in the pipeline that I'm excited to announce. One thing, if you notice the heading, my goal is to launch the How to Create a Coding course. It's going to be a YouTube course as well, like how to do a YouTube and what I've learned along the way, but specifically coding related course. My goal is to launch that the 1st of October, which is about 5 weeks away. I wrote up the rough draft of myself, sort of the syllabus, if you will, of what I'm planning to do for that, and that's going to change slowly but surely. I'm going to start working on that this weekend, as well as the Now degree program and some personal things going on in my work life and business life and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully I got some good news to announce. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. I've wanted to make a course for a while, and I've been a bit intimidated to. It's a bit intimidating. I feel like, at least for my experience on YouTube, one thing I've always sort of cherished in terms of a personality trait is honesty, right? And there's a lot of people out there who are going to sell you some shit that they really have no business making or no business selling. And I try to only sell I try to only promote things that I use. So like you'll notice recently I've been talking about the Humble bundles and stuff like that. That's all stuff I use. I love it. I recommend it. I started putting affiliate links into my descriptions of my videos. All stuff I use. Everything, single thing on there are products I use or have used and stand by. And when I was making, so I originally started making a very detailed, like I wanted to make like a cult web developers bootcamp course. That was my goal, right? It was really just the all included massive course, and I got really overwhelmed because at the end of the day, I didn't think I could live up to the standards that I wanted to live up to. So I had to step back. I said, okay, what is something that I think I can deliver and that will be good quality and that I think people will want? And if you're not a member of the Facebook group, this is how I discovered, not discovered, but decided on which one I was going to do. But I basically created a poll about 2 items that I want to make. I'm going to make both. Just in life, you can only separate your mental energy and your time so much, right? So between work, YouTube, setting up a podcast, I don't have time for 2 more projects. I just don't, right? So between all that, I could squeeze in 1 more. I felt like I had this time of squeezing it in right around when I'm wrapping up this Redux, React, and React Native course. And that was, I posted a poll on the Facebook group, Code Tech and Caffeine. Check it out if you guys aren't already members. And on there, I said, do you want me to write a book? Because I love writing. It's a passion of mine. Do you want me to write a book saying, hey, here are 50 developer stories to motivate you, right? To inspire you. Essentially 50 5-page inspirational stories from developers. I get to interview all these interesting people and write their story. That was my goal. That was one thing that I want to do and I will do. Or do you want me to go ahead and create a course about creating a coding channel and what it can do for your career and how to utilize things and what to avoid? And to my surprise, it was like 95% coding channel and 5% book. But I plan on doing both, but definitely the coding channel is going to come first. Thought you were working today. I was. So I actually got in. I woke up at 5 this morning. Normally I wake up at 6. And I don't know about you, but I just can't go back to sleep after I wake up for the most part. If it's like an hour or 2 hours before I'm supposed to be up. So I just got up and went to work at 6 a.m. and I got off around 2:30. So that's basically why I'm a little early today. I just started work early, so I left early. That's the gist of it at the end of the day. But yeah, so that's exciting for that. So let's see. Have I looked into Polymer or Firebase yet? I haven't had a chance. Right now, in terms of what I'm studying is React focused, React, Redux. So I did the React course. I'm doing the React Now degree. And I basically finished the first 1 of 3 sections, which is the React section. And next is Redux. And when I finish that section, the way that I like to learn, when I do like let's just say a video tutorial that I watch. You know, I watched Derek Bonas, for instance. When I first started with AngularJS, I watched his videos, his 4-part videos, and then I went and I built my website, codingtutorials360.com. I built that to kind of cement it in, and I did the same thing with this React course. So not only did I follow this React portion of the React Nano degree, but I also went in and I went to the Free Code Camp beta. And I checked out what projects they have. Not the beta, excuse me. I went to the Free Code Camp React section, and I checked out what projects they have, and I built 3 of them. So that's what I spent this last weekend doing, was I built a Markdown Previewer. I built the Markdown Previewer project. I built the Recipe Box one, and I built the Camper Leaderboard. So now I have 4 projects in React that are, I think I have to push 2 of them to my GitHub still, but that was to help cement React for me. That's one thing is, okay, cool. I've learned React through the course. Now let's see that one project is beautiful project, great. Now let's see what of it I retained and if there's things that aren't necessarily connecting, I'm going to hammer those in through these 3 projects. So that's what I did this weekend. I built 3 projects, and I already recorded all of them. One came out. I have another one coming out this Saturday. I think I have the markdown preview this Saturday, and then the following Saturday I will have the recipe box, which is an hour and 20-minute video. That recipe box was a lot more time intensive in terms of recording than anticipated. So I'm excited to release that, and that's one of the things that I wanted to do. And I was talking with Brad at Traversing Media a little while back, and he had commented, "Hey, I wish I could see more projects, and this is something I'd like to see." And I think the subs would like to see it too. And it's always intimidating throwing projects out there because I like to build things and stuff that I'm new with. And I don't want to say I'm intimidated, but I don't want to say that I'm intimidated, but there's something where I even say it once or twice, like, hey, I know I'm building this, it all works, but there may be some stuff that I am doing slightly wrong or slightly different. It's because I've only been working with React for 2 weeks at that point, right? But I built the project, and we filled the user stories and things like that. So, but I never throw out a tutorial and say, like, I'm the end-all, be-all, so I don't feel too bad about it if some things are a little wonky. Traversing Media is one of the best channels on YouTube, and definitely in the coding space. Can you talk about the second half of Redux? Jamal Taylor, I definitely will. So my plan is for the Udacity Now degree program. I did a what I was expecting video, which is kind of like the prequel, if you will. Then we got chapter 1, which is the React section. I showcased that project. When I get done with the Redux, I'm going to talk a little. I'll review that, and then React Native, I'll review that, and at the end of it, I'll do an overall review of essentially a Now degree program, what I learned, what I liked, what I didn't like. One of the cool things about that is I've actually reached out to Tyler McGinnis, who is one of the authors of the course from, I believe he's from reacttraining.com. So I'm actually going to be interviewing him sometime after the 1st or 2nd week of September. I reached out to him, and he said, yeah, I would love to be interviewed. And he didn't say I would love to be interviewed. He said, yeah, I'll interview with you. It's not like it was died at the bit. Like, oh, Dylan, please. No, that guy don't give a fuck about me. But he said yes. And he's going to be he's going to be out of town for a bit. And then September 10th, which isn't that far away, it's about 2-3 weeks. After that, I'm going to be interviewing him. So look forward to that. One thing that I'll be doing today sometime is interviewing. I want to get more interviews under the belt. It's been pretty hectic in the background of my life lately, and interviews are a very time-consuming thing, and you have to meet people and reach out to people, and you gotta set up meetings and stuff like that. But it's something that I want to put back out there because I think there's a lot of value in it, especially as prep for setting up a podcast as well. So I've reached out to Brian at Let's Build That App. I'm supposed to be interviewing him today. We're supposed to just have a casual conversation. You guys will see that coming out in the future. Can you talk about what happened to the interview will be live, right? Not this time. Not this time. No. I'm gonna put it out for a video. Can you talk about your Ninja 650 motorcycle and how it got stolen? Is that I can't even remember. I told you that happened. I'll tell you about it. Let me see real quick if I can show. I think I have the. I'm gonna pull up in the archives a picture of it. Why is Amy not participating anymore? I thought you schooled her well in the arts of ones and zeros. I think you mean April. I think you're referring to my girlfriend. That's what I think you mean. Let me see if I can log in. Give me a second here, guys. I'm going to see if I can log into MySpace still and get the picture of the old motorcycle. And I'll tell you the story. Why do you love programming? I like the challenge, man. I mean, it's something that if you've ever worked any sort of job before, you will know that there is something to be said about the sort of day in, day out, same old, same old. And every day I get to build something new. I get to all right, so no picture of the bike. The old MySpace days. That's how long ago it was when I had a bike, man. There's a picture of it on MySpace. But why I love programming, at the end of the day, man, I really just like building stuff. Things are constantly changing. I like the problem solving. I feel like it keeps me sharp. I mean, I would say that when I really fell in love with it was when I started building stuff. And so that to me is like the defining thing, is being able to build something, step back, and then look at it. It's kind of the same about YouTube. Is here I am working on YouTube, and what I'm basically doing is building something every day. I'm hammering it down, nails and hammers and screws, except in a digital world, right? I'm building something that I can be proud of, and that I can look back and say, look at my hard work, look what it has paid off, and look what I can do with it. And that's really it at the end of the day, is I'm building something I'm proud of and that I enjoy doing. It's easy to easy to see why. Did I use CodePen for the recipe box? No, I did everything on my local machine. I didn't want to bother with all that, so I just did it on my local. Okay, so somebody asked me about how my motorcycle got stolen. So this is kind of an interesting. It wasn't funny at the time. It wasn't funny at the time, but now we can laugh. Now we are adults. So I'm going to get my age wrong, but I'm going to say this is around the time I'm 20. At this time in my life, I am a college student, going to community college. I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do. No, I take it back. I am actually, I believe at this time, I am studying to be a firefighter. So I'm going through an EMT program. For those of you who don't know, I've jumped all around, right, until I stuck with CS after I kind of fell in love with it and decided that it was a great thing to learn and great opportunity and whatnot. But before that, I was kind of bouncing around. I didn't really know what to commit to, and that's where I was at, right? So I really, at that time, I was going through an EMT certification program. I had this wonderful little janky-ass Ninja 650 bike, and it was like a 1990. It was like 20 years old at that time, right? I think at this time, nowadays it's probably 30, right? It was like born a year before me or a year after me. That's all I remember. So I paid like $700 for it, but it ran great. The guy who had it was a mechanic. He kept great care of it. So I always knew that my dad really didn't like motorcycles, right? He thought, at this time, mind you, I'm living with, I believe, my buddy Eric. Him and I have an apartment together. I'm working at a pizza place, and I am going to school. And at that time, my father, the reason I was able to do this was my father was giving me $500 for rent, which covered my rent. And then basically I worked to pay for all my food, the utilities, life, all that sort of stuff. So he was helping me out with that when it came to school. Now, my mother has like 5 brothers. I have like 5 uncles, and so they all had motorcycles. So she's cooler with it, right? So it's like Christmas or around there, and I decided to ride my bike instead of my car. And mind you, my car and my bike. Don't think I'm balling out. My car's worth like $2,000, and my motorcycle's worth like $600, right? So I'm riding my bike down to my mom's house to go visit her for Christmas or something like that, and I'm talking with her, and so it ends up, she goes, I'm thinking my mom doesn't care. She's like, oh, cool, nice, be safe, wear a jacket. I have my helmet, I got my jacket on, I got my gloves. I'm suited and booted for the road. So I'm thinking like everything is cool, and my mom's like, hey, why don't I go buy you some tires for your car? I know you need new tires. That'll be my Christmas present to you. I haven't had a chance to get you anything. I say, cool. So I drive back. She drives back the whole time. Now, mind you, we park my bike. We go drop my car off at like the mechanic to get new tires. And we're going out to dinner. We're chatting it up and just shooting the shit about life and whatnot. This whole time, she had been setting me up so my dad could go steal my motherfucking bike because she didn't like that I was driving a motorcycle. So what ends up happening is the whole time my mom and I are chilling, hanging out, having a good like Christmas Eve, or it was like the day after or 2 days after. And we're having dinner at like, or lunch at like an Olive Garden. My dad, who's at work, and mind you, he's working at like Fox Studios. He's on a set filming. This is how crazy he is about motorcycles. He's on a set, they're filming, they're doing the thing, and he's like, he gets a call from my mom. So if you guys don't know anything about divorced parents, at least in my case, they never talk unless like one of us is hooked on drugs or like we're just fucking up in life, right? So that is the extent of how much my mother and my father talk. And mind you, none of us are on drugs or ever have been, but we have fucked up in life a couple times, as is life. So she's chatting up and she's like, hey, let's go get dessert, right? And we're just drawing it out. I'm like, cool, whatever. I'm hanging out with my mom. And my dad goes and he rents a U-Haul because he has like a little Mustang. How's he gonna steal a motorcycle on a Mustang? And so he goes and he rents a U-Haul, leaves his work, rents a U-Haul, drives to my apartment, and he sees my motorcycle. My mom described it to him, and goes and runs up the ramp of the U-Haul, I guess, and then steals my motorcycle. So that is how. And at the time, I was super pissed. And by the way, he then texts me when I get back. I'm like looking for my motorcycle because I'm going to go to the store or something. And I hadn't checked my phone because I put it on silent because I was with my mom. He then texts me, hey, motherfucker. It literally said, hey, motherfucker. I'm not even exaggerating about that. He said, hey, motherfucker, I got your bike. And I fucking flipped, man. So that is the story. That is the story of how my motorcycle got stolen. Now, it wasn't funny at the time, and I'm still a little upset about it 10 years later. But here, that is the story that you wanted to know so much. All right, so Traversing Media, thank you. Congrats on the 25K. I appreciate that, man. We're grinding. We're 1/4 to that silver play button. Have you got yours yet, by the way, Brad? Have you got yours yet? So let's see here. I mostly program in Angular at work. I'm programming in React on the side, Node, Express, MongoDB, Mongoose, all that sort of stuff. One thing I could advise you guys as a junior developer, as someone who's just getting started, is that if you are starting in your first year or two as a developer, once you have a good handle on what it is that you're working with there, do study other things. Study other things and start other side projects and things like that. Brad, I think you have to apply for it. So for those of you who don't know, at 100,000, YouTube officially recognizes you as a YouTuber, and they will send you a silver play button plaque. For me, it's a goal. It's one of my goals. By 2020, I want to have a silver play button. That's what I want to accomplish. I think we're going to. 2020 is a long time away. It's about what, 2 years and 4 months, 3 months. But yeah, so Brad, I think you have to go and like there's like if you check in like your settings, so it's probably a notification somewhere saying that once you pass 100,000, they'll send it to you. You just have to request it or something. Yeah, nothing says Merry Christmas like a stolen bike. Oh yeah, I was a grown-ass man at that time. Now, mind you, you can make the argument. You can make the argument that I wasn't because I was getting $500 a month for rent. Now, you can make that argument, but because I do think that if you are accepting money from your parents, you're not necessarily an adult yet, and that's not to say that there's anything wrong with it, but there is something childlike about it where you're not necessarily completely independent, and thus you're maintaining some of the older stuff. Again, nothing wrong with it, but it does have that sort of thing. So I could understand that argument where even though you're not living under his house, if he's paying for your house, you're living under his house. And that was kind of the deal. You know what's funny is every time I see him, when he comes, he loves telling that story at every family gathering about how he stole my motorcycle. Can you imagine this? This man stole my motorcycle and then tells me, motherfucker, I got you a bike. So anyhow, to summarize that, my father ended up paying me the money that I paid for the bike. And that's one of the reasons that it's easier to laugh at it at the time. At the time, I was super pissed. He eventually wrote me a check for it, and we called it a wash, and I just drove cars. That's the gist of it. Let's see. Got this pushing out awesome comment. Thank you, man. I'm trying. I'm trying, man. We got some good things coming up. I have, last I mentioned, I'm interviewing two very notable people, which is exciting. The podcast. This weekend, Nick and I we're setting up a call so that we can test out the software editing. Want to make sure that there's no sort of technical glitches when we launch this, the course, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, man. So my girlfriend, every time she sees my dad, because we don't see them very often, when he was down here visiting, she's like, "Tell me about that time you stole Dylan's bike," just because she thinks it's funny. Do I want a bike again? You know what, man? As much as I do want a motorcycle, I wouldn't get one because it's just too unsafe. If I was gonna get, and I wouldn't get it because it's too much money. But there's like the 3-wheeled Raptors. Have you seen these? They're 2-seaters, and they're like a 2 in the front, 1 wheel in the back. If I was gonna get something kind of feel like a badass, that's probably what I would get. I'm a badass who's too worried about dying, so I'm not ready to be on a motorcycle. Any cool coding projects you're doing recently? Well, I'm doing the Udacity Nano degree program, which is really fun. I did so as I mentioned earlier, I did this weekend I did 3 small React projects from the Free Code Camp React project curriculum. And what I'm looking forward to making is I bought a URL. I think I bought it. I have to log into my GoDaddy. I don't remember if I bought it or not, but I'm pretty sure I did. But I bought a URL to develop tools for YouTube, and that's going to be my own independent project, and that's going to be going up pretty soon. So I'm going to be building some tools for using the YouTube API, and there's going to be a website there. Maybe I'll throw some ads on it to try and make a little bit of money. But I'm also going to build. So Chris, I've gotten really into investing right now. So that's like my new passion. Not my new passion, but it's something that's. So I do a lot of self-education with code on YouTube, and now I'm doing a lot of self-education with investment on YouTube. So I'm learning a lot about cryptocurrencies. I'm learning a lot about stocks, more so into peer-to-peer. So one thing I want to do is I want to build my own customizable dashboard, and everything that I'm interested in, keep track of, and I'll probably build that to a site. And I don't want this only to be for like investments. It's actually probably going to be a dashboard for your life. That's how I see it, in which it keeps track of maybe your Facebook notifications. It keeps track of your Instagram notifications, where you're able to customizably build a dashboard. One of the ways that this came about is I already built one at work. Not necessarily that detailed, but I've been working on a dashboard system for our application at work, and I'm just thinking about all the great things that I could do with it and how I would benefit from it. So that's something that I've been thinking about as well. My newest thing is the podcast, though. We haven't launched that yet. Building the coding course. These are all things that I'm working on. So, never heard anyone say. Never heard anybody saying saving money is his passion. Well, I don't want to say saving money is my passion. What I consider money is saving money or having money available is, for me, it's just a peace of mind. I just like knowing that if something happens in life, I have a nest egg, and I want to get that nest egg to about $100,000. That's basically my goal, and then I'll relax. Is the dashboard going to be open source? Yes. Everything that's on there, I'll probably have. I'll have a website so you guys can log in, and I'll probably offer premium features if I ever get. So that's one thing I want to build. That's after the YouTuber tools. It's after I get the podcast initialized. It's after I finish the coding course. All these things. The thing when you're a passionate person, when you are excited and you always like side projects, like my biggest side project will be my YouTube channel, because it will give me a platform for my other side projects. So the thing is when I have my YouTube channel, I can only have one to two side projects at a time on top of that, because I also work, right? Putting in 40, 45 hours a week at my job. When you first started practicing algorithm challenges, how long did it take you to solve them? It takes me about 2 days to solve simple algorithms. Is it normal? It's normal when you get started. Don't worry about that. Things get easier, and then it's kind of like I kind of compare coding to math, in which at a point in time, subtraction and addition was hard, and then it became easy, and then you moved on to the next hard subject, which was division and multiplication, and then that became easy, and then you moved on to the next thing, which might be fractions or geometry or trig or calculus, and then all these things slowly become easier and easier and easier, and then you look back and you say, "Wow, man, that was really kind of crazy what you did there." Computer science for software engineering, it doesn't matter, man. It's going to be, if you get either one of those, you'll be fine. And as long as you're a passionate individual, constantly learning, side projects, all that sort of stuff, that's what's going to matter more than, as long as you have one of the two, you're going to be great. But yeah, Daniel, don't worry about that too much. Possible merchandise? I don't know, man. So I have some stuff, but I usually give it away to subscribers. Let me show you. So like I have some stickers that I send to people who sign up on the for my Patreon, and I send them some if they want them. Now I don't think for possible merchandise, I just don't think I have a large enough base for that. Like, I don't know. This may be a personal question, but what's the ballpark yearly income you make in your job? That's kind of interesting, because I'm about to get a raise at my 1 year mark. I'll give you this. I'll tell you how much I make with YouTube and how much I make with my yearly salary. I will be around $90,000. That's how much I'll be around. With that, I don't necessarily mind saying how much I make. It's just that I've been told by other developers that I shouldn't say. And these are developers I respect. I talk very openly about money most of the time, but when people I respect tell me that, hey, I don't think you should answer these questions, I don't think it's an appropriate thing. If it wasn't someone I respect, I would probably not answer that. So I give you that. You can try and figure out how much you think I make from YouTube and how much I make from my job. So, do I use Webpack? Only when I use the Create React app right now. Let's see here. Am I investing in stocks? Yes. So I invest in stocks. I invest in a couple different. So I invest through Robinhood, which essentially are me choosing my own stocks. I also have a weekly amount that goes into the Acorns investment app, which you essentially choose a portfolio, and then the Betterment investment app, which you choose a portfolio. And I also have a weekly amount that goes into Prosper, which is a peer-to-peer lending application. If you're not familiar with peer-to-peer lending, I will give you a brief summary of it. But essentially, you lend money in $25 increments. So someone's borrowing $5,000, and they're going to pay a 15% interest rate. I buy $25 at a time, shares of it, typically one per loan for me to spread out my risk. And I make interest based off that over a 3 or 5 year period. All my loans are three years. And so every month I get a portion of my principal payment as well as interest back, which at this time I'm reinvesting. And then I'm also started diving into the world of cryptocurrencies. So as of right now, for the last 3 months, I've been lucky enough to save about 50% of my income. Part of that is I have no debt. I've kept all my expenses very low. Yeah, I've worked hard to be able to get here, and I'm happy I'm able to do these things. So when you guys hear me saying like, hey, you know, and by the way, I don't have a lot of money saved up. I'm getting to a point where I feel comfortable, where the first time in my life I have a 3-month supply of money if something happens, which is not something I've ever had before. Should I use BootStrap for free code and full stack projects? I don't see why not. Why do you use TubeBuddy instead of Social Blade? TubeBuddy comes with a lot more tools. I also got it for free because people at TubeBuddy are dope. Am I better at front end or back end? I do more front end, but I don't see a difference, especially when you do. The thing is I just look at it as one, right? It's like, what end of the spectrum are you on? You're starting at the front, it connects to the back, right? And so if you look at it, if you look at the whole application, because as you should when you're architecting a project, it's not necessarily what you become better at doing. It's more so, can you understand both sides, and who cares what you do more of, as long as you're good at all of it. But I would say I'm probably, I don't know, equal, I guess. Do you use WordPress at work? No. What do you do when your boss tells you to add a feature, but the next day society you take it off and blames that you added the feature? You say, sorry, sir, and you smile. And then if it happens a couple more times, you say, stop telling me to do shit. Look, man, here's the thing. No one's boss is perfect. This is the truth. There's going to be things that you disagree with and you can have a respectful conversation about, and there's going to be things that you agree with. The thing is that when something like that happens, you need to have a respectful, two-sided conversation, or maybe not even the first time. It doesn't sound like that big of a deal. But the second time you say, hey, you know, I was told to do this, and then how am I, supposed to know not to? Or you just, it's all about trying to understand where the other person is coming from and having a respectful conversation. That's really it. Is at the end of the day, most people are nice people. They have rough days here or there, and on those rough days, you just smile and say, hey, sorry about that. And then maybe it happens again. You say, look, man, is something all right? Most of the time, it's not you, man. Most of the time, it's just that whatever is going on in their life, and they're So when that happens, you just explain your situation. Say, oh, I thought I was supposed to build this. What would you like me to do with this? Would you like me to take it out of the master branch and save it in case we change our mind again or whatever? So it happens in different aspects, where especially when you're on the lower end of the totem pole, because it's their job to mold you and to help influence you and to connect with you. And so it's just part of the process sometimes. What back-end languages do I work with? I work with PHP, CakePHP, MySQL for the database. In my side projects, I do Node, Express, MongoDB, and Mongoose. Knowing what you know right now, what would you have done differently after high school graduation? I would have started investing money. I would have started eating healthier, exercising. I would never have gone to college, and I probably would consider going to a boot camp, but I definitely would start self-taught. That's exactly what I would do. So I'm a big believer in the self-taught route. But then again, guys, not everyone can do it. I have literally I only say almost because I go out of town very seldomly. But if you were to line up the last 3 years of my life, line by line, say this is my GitHub, right? And mind you, I don't ever push to GitHub. I work on YouTube. Say this is my GitHub. There might be a total of 15 days in those 3 years in which a line of code wasn't written, and in which a meetup wasn't gone to, or a hackathon wasn't attended, or a YouTube video wasn't made. So not everyone can. The secret to success that I've learned is working hard for extended periods of time. It's easy to work hard for a weekend. It's hard to work hard for a long period of time. And not everyone can do that. And if it's a different type of hard when it's unstructured. And self-taught is unstructured. When you go to a college program, there's a lot of benefits that go along with it, right? For instance, a lot of companies will consider you above other applicants. That's okay. But there's also companies that will consider you if you're self-taught. So you have that aspect. There's also the aspect that you're going to have a very structured learning path that some people thrive in. And in my case, I don't. It's not that I can't learn stuff that's assigned to me. I just don't. It's just not my thing, man. And it's one of the things I've struggled with, and I don't know what I'm going to do. In a previous, I think in like the 23K, I talked about going back. So I'm still deciding, to be honest with you. My mind tells me it's best for me. My heart tells me I don't want to do it. And I don't know what to do, man. So I don't know. So I'm still deciding. At what point of life were you 0 in CS, and how long did it take you to become a programmer? Well, I believe the first programming class I had was about 5 years ago. Let me get a couple water, guys, real quick. So the first programming class I had was 5 years ago in college. And but you don't code as much as you think in a CS program. I really don't consider myself really have learned to code, or like from the 0 point, if you will, until about 2.5, 3 years ago when I about 3 or 4 months before I started my coding channel was when I decided I was going to start this path of I'm going to study every day, and I started doing Code Academy and stuff. That's really when I think I started learning to code. What is after React and React Native? So that is the end of the nano degree program. They have an extracurricular section in which they go over Git, ES6, asynchronous calls, and then they also have in the final section something for portfolio help and resume help. So that'll be what's after. Although I'm probably jumping straight into a side project, and I'll slowly tick away at that. How many hours a day did you learn and create? Well, it depends at what point in time. When I dropped out of school, I told myself, okay, now game time, if you will. So game time, when I dropped out of school at my previous job, I started working 40, 45-hour week standard job. And then I came home every day and I studied for 4 hours. So I got home around 5. From about 5 to 9 or 6 to 10, I put in about 4 hours Monday through Friday. Friday was a little bit more because it was the weekend, so usually 6 to 8. So I would stay up till about 10, 11, and I would code. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'd put in 8 to 14-hour days. And I did that for about 7 months. And I felt confident enough that I asked my boss to, at the time, said, hey, I'm not really happy with my position. I mentioned that I took this role to move myself into a developer role or QA role. Unfortunately, that didn't work out on their timetable, and then I took my current role. So next time meet Quincy. Hey, I know we all have to thank Quincy, man. Are things in Florida walking distance, or do you need a car to get around? I live I guess my brother calls it the suburbs. I guess I don't know what suburbs are. I just you need a car. But if you lived in downtown, which you could on a developer salary, so I could probably live downtown for twice what I'm paying, maybe 50% more. But I live instead 4 miles away, and it's an 8-minute drive. So if you lived in downtown, you could walk around. Dab, right? What was the demographics of that class in college? Well, I went to Cal State Los Angeles. I remember from a newspaper article, I think I was the only one that reads the college newspapers, that at least in terms of ethnic breakdown, it was 50% Hispanic, 25% Caucasian, or 20% Caucasian. It was like 5% black, and then like 15% Asian was the demographic there. In terms of age, just from everyone was between 18 to 24 for the most part. So I was 24, I think, when I started. What would you choose? $43,000 job working remote plus stock options, or $55,000 no stock options and have to be in the office? Well, I'd have to know about the company. I don't value remote. I actually think that, especially as getting started as a junior developer, as a developer just getting started, there's a lot of value of you being able to go in person and be around that. It's going to not only help you get your salary up quicker, you're going to learn a lot more. I mean, think about it. You're surrounding yourself with other developers, some who are senior developers who are probably going to charge $200 for an hour of their time outside of work. So that's for me what I would advise. But you have to really know about what is stock. You want stock options in my YouTube channel, and I'll pay you shit? Like like how much, like what are the stock options in, and what are what percent are you getting, and what's the company? So that's a big question. After Codecademy, what's the best move? Well, I hope you're building things. That's like a big move. In terms of where to go next, if you're learning web development, I can't recommend free Codecamp Hire as an interactive learning guide. Should junior developers be given deadlines so soon after starting a job with little to no supervision? That's a hard thing to take out of context, because it depends. I get deadlines that get moved up all the time. For me, hey, we need this by this date. All right, let's get it done, baby. I'll drop what I'm doing and go there. So it's so it just depends. It's all. So the thing is guys, there's a lot of gray. Not everything's black and white. So like everything we're talking about, Ghost Note in your case, is we need context, right? Not everything. There's very little things in life are black and white. So you need context as to what does that actually mean. Is there little to no supervision because you're not asking for help? Because you're not saying, hey, I'm not really quite sure how to get started on this. Could you maybe give me some guidance? Because it's just as important to speak up. I've had this cough for a week. I don't know what's causing it. At what age did you get your official programming job? 28. I'm 29, about to turn 30. At 27, I worked as a technology trainer at a software company. And then at 26, I started a internship and started freelancing. So that is the extent of my of any relevant experience from the internship on. I use Codecademy Pro. Would you still recommend free Codecamp after that? Yeah. I would recommend that you don't pay money for Codecademy Pro as well. How does it feel to be turning 30? I'll tell you, man, some of the shit that I'm going to tell you on that I am interested in, you're going to say, this guy's getting old as fuck. You know what I spend my time doing? Honestly, I spend my time saving money. I spend my time working when I get off work, right? Doing all this sort of stuff. And I spend my time improving my credit. Like, like if I'm not ready to turn, if I'm not ready to turn 30, I don't know what I'm doing. I've spent the last year systematically improving my credit score from the bad mistakes. I seem like I'm 23. Are you saying I'm immature? I don't. I'm just telling you. I'm just giving you me, man. Have I done the voting app of the first? I started it, and then it just became a lot of work, and I started learning other things. That's basically it. Do you think someone with over 800,000 subs on YouTube can move their own platform, charging users $5 a month to be successful? They also have outside resources, as I don't know what Stokes are in a state. Well, I would say that you'd probably be doing yourself a disservice moving to another platform. I think using your platform where your audience is and then making money through that audience is probably the better plan. Thank you, Anthony. By the way, so I messed up my credit when I was 20. So good for you, Anthem, that you're not. So my credit a year ago was 580. 580. If you don't know what that is, it basically means that you cannot be trusted with a credit card. That's basically all it means. So I haven't had a credit card up until about a year ago. Just up until about a year ago, I haven't had a credit card. All I've had, but a year before that, I got my car loan. I'm paying a stupid interest rate on it. But it's building my credit up, and with the credit. So now, a year later of me actively, I guess 2 years if you count my loan that I've been paying stupid interest on. A year later, I am now up to 710 and climbing. So I've been putting in as much work as I can, learning about how to improve my credit. A lot of that's come in the last 6 months. So I'm happy about it, is what I'm trying to say. It's hard improving your credit, man. I'm trying to. My brother talks all this shit because his credit score is 825. 825. I didn't even know it went up to 800. All right, like, oh man. So this was messed up, right? My brother has never he up until he's traveling right now and whatnot. He has a credit limit on one of his credit cards for $10,000. I think he made 15 last year. How does that happen? How does that happen? That's good credit problems, man. I got bad credit problems. And now, actually, I'm in mid-tier credit now. Mid-tier credit. So I've been working at it, building it up. I actually have to go. This is what's crazy about credit. No, it goes up to 850. It goes up 850. So this is the crazy thing about credit is I actually have to find things to buy and put on credit to continue building my credit. It doesn't make any sense. Right now, he's just traveling. He's had the same credit card, 2 credit cards forever, and always made it paid online. Yeah, man. My brother, before that, he worked at. He graduated about 1.5 years ago, and he worked at AmeriCorp, doing like a internship sort of thing, where they basically. So if you're not familiar with AmeriCorp, it's basically a bootleg Peace Corps. That's really the way of thinking about it. So he did that, and you basically volunteer through the community, and they pay you below minimum wage, but they if you have student loans, they'll pay off some of that, and eventually you make like $1 less than minimum wage if you do it right. So he did that this last year, and you're getting paid poorly when they hand you your like job app, and they're like, oh hey, here's this for food stamps, right? So like they literally do that. And how you can get from government programs, because you are getting paid a stipend, which legally can be below minimum wage because legally you're a volunteer. But I'm happy he did it. And right now, so the whole time he was in school, he saved up like 20 grand delivering pizzas, right? And for 9 months, he went and traveled East Asia with his girlfriend, and then they broke up. And now he's down in South America traveling solo. So he's finishing that up in the next 5 months or so, maybe 3 months, and then he's going back to Portland to allegedly start working. I don't believe it. I think he's just going to be couch surfing for a while. That's what I think. Yeah, they don't pay your student loans. They pay 5,000 of your student loans, which in today's day and age is about 15% of your total student loans. When am I going to marry? Did April tell you to ask that? Because God knows she asks me that all the time, man. I'm going to marry when 3 things are accomplished. 3. YouTube's at 100,000 subscribers. Salary's at 100,000. Net worth is at 100,000. When those 3 things are accomplished, I will put a ring on. That's it. So I've stood by this statement. JJ Smith, no, I hear you about the 5K. What I'm saying about the 5K is that based off the money that you are getting paid, even with that 5K over the year, you'll still make less than minimum wage. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's not value in it. Of course, you're saving $5,000. The 100Ks. Yeah, I mean, I just want to take, for me, everything's going well, right? Like, everything's going well. The YouTube channel's growing. The salaries are growing. The money being saved is growing. And, like, I'm planning the next stage of our life. Like, that's it. Is I want to have the foundation before we build the house. That is how I look at it. And if I build the house without the foundation that I need for us to succeed, it's a bad decision. So, I mean, do you guys really think I'm going anywhere? We're going on almost 7 years. You think I'm just going to dipset all of a sudden? Be like, later? Come on, man. That's like a year 3 move. You know what I mean? So we're past that. So, I mean, you're talking to someone who just told you that his idea of fun is improving his credit and saving money for the future. And you don't think I'm going to plan for the future with, you know, the love of my life? Come on. I got it planned out in this case. So, yeah. Later, nerd. All right. Yeah, so I mean that's just me, man. And part of that is just not having those 3 things at the end of the day, and knowing what they can provide, and just getting a taste of success and working hard for that success, and so on and so forth. Well, I tell you what, man, if just a hot tip pointer for those of you who move across country for a job and your girlfriend joins you, there might be some expectations that weren't discussed. That's all I'm saying. So my current work has a pretty poor 401k. So I just take the money I invest and I put it into other things. That's all. So I don't like my work's 401k. Also in tech. So I don't know. So I haven't done a ton of research about 401k. I did it at my last work, and I ended up losing money because I had to withdraw it. And part of the reason for that is for this move, I had to withdraw that money so I could move. And second is I didn't get any benefit of it because I wasn't at the company for a year. In software, you're usually not at a job for more than 18 months, especially when you're getting your career started and you're trying to find that right fit. So I'm not going to start a 401k unless it's a good 401k and it's a lot of there's I can see myself being there for many years. I'd like to have 401k or a Roth IRA. I mean, for me, as long as I'm investing money, saving money, it's all going towards the future, right? So it doesn't necessarily matter what platform it is. Oftentimes, just not having debt and saving a little bit of money, you're already ahead, right? You just got to get into the position in which you're hustling, you're grinding, you're putting yourself out there, you're getting different revenue streams. Most people only ever have one, sadly. And I would like to do more videos about investing. I would like to do more videos on that, but I know what I know. I typically just like to talk about what I'm doing when I give advice, and I don't want to send anyone down that. Do you think getting paid in equity is BS? No. I think that there's certain companies, if you're only getting paid in equity, it's usually BS. But there are companies that will pay you, let's say everyone in the company makes 50 grand regardless of the position. And I interviewed for a couple of these companies, so that's why I'm giving this as this example. That you'll get a piece of equity based on that role. And it'll be like 1/10% or 1/4%. It just depends, right? And then usually you have to work every year to get a larger piece of that equity. Excuse me. So, all right, am I watching the McGregor-Mayweather fight this Saturday? I am indeed. I'm not sure where, though. So I don't watch a lot of TV or events, but I will be watching that. I'm a big UFC fan, for those of you who don't know. It's one of my only hobbies outside of code. Are you planning for startups, to work at startups? Have I applied for a job at Google? I have. I have indeed. One second, guys. More water. Do I do any MMA? Bro, who needs to do MMA when you go into the gun show, all right? No, man, I don't have time for it. One time I went and rolled around on some mats for some jiu-jitsu when I was hanging out with Matt a little bit. Who do you have winning the fight? I guess you have to give it to Mayweather by decision. Should I learn off a free code camp and how long will it take? That depends on you, man. They estimate 500 hours. I think it's pretty fair for the front end cert if you've never written a line of code. But again, it all depends. It probably took me around 200, but I had written code before, right? So, kind of depends. I'll tell you what, though, in the McGregor-Mayweather fight is that if McGregor does knock Mayweather out, I think the sport of boxing just needs to retire. like you can't have it. You're just done. You can't do it anymore. Like, you just lost the MMA. That's what it is. Like, everyone expects MMA to lose, right? If you want to say it's MMA versus boxing, people don't want to say that, right? If McGregor beats Floyd Mayweather, I think you just got to roll up the carpet. Boxing is done. It's illegal now. Trump got to sign some executive order, said, hey, some bullshit happened over the weekend. We can't let this disrespectful sport happen anymore. This MMA guy beat the 49-0, like 6th division champion. We can't have it anymore. Oh, my mouse died. So for those of you who were on the live stream the other day, remember when I told you I ordered a mouse that like glowed in the dark and shit? And they sent me this Razer Mamba mouse instead of my mouse pad, which is like $100 mouse, so I'm keeping it. And I just ordered another mouse pad, but I have to charge it. It's not too shabby though, man. Look at this. It comes with a little case, right? Look at that. It's charging right now. Bam, baby. Swag. Hey, I love you too, man. What's my favorite programming language? JavaScript, man. I love JavaScript. I had a recruiter today tell me that, hey, we're looking for someone with Java and JavaScript. I said, well, I've only done Java in a Scholastic environment. She said, that's enough. I'm like, that's too bad because I really don't want to work in a job with Java. So please don't, unless you're like a top, like a big 4 company. That's the only way you're getting me into Java again, man. What's wrong with Codecademy Pro? I just think your money's spent better elsewhere. That's all. Thoughts on Preact? Preact? I don't know what Preact is. Can you start to upgrade my laptop, Mac, or PC? I happen to like PC. I think Macs are overrated. I also think it's easier to upgrade your PC. Can you explain a bit of progressive web application? That's a big question, man. You're gonna have to narrow it down a little bit. Java's usually going to be enterprise, right? Stick up the ass environment. Yeah, Java as a whole is a pain in the ass. But there's big money in Java because it's a pain in the ass. I know a lot of people. All the people that I went to school with worked in Java. In all honesty, I would work in Java if the company was right and the price was right. I'd have to re-dive into it. I haven't touched Java in so long. Although JavaScript with TypeScript and everything is slowly becoming a little something. So please make a video on progressive web application. I would love to, man, but what do you want specifically on a progressive web application? I'm gonna need a little bit more. I'll see what I can do, man. I'll pull something together. What backend does my company use? PHP, Cake, PHP, and MySQL. I can't wait to get these braces off, man. Can you please name some projects to build with JavaScript off the top of your head? 3 will be great. Well, luckily, if you're just looking for some standard projects to practice, Free Code Camp has a list of 12 on the front end. You could build what I built in React this weekend, a Markdown previewer. You could build a recipe box. You could build a leader. You could build an API leader camp. I suggest you check out those projects. There's also the Simon game, a weather application. You can also build a random quote machine. What else do we got? Those are a few that come to mind. Luckily, there's somebody who put videos up building all that shit. So if you get stuck, you can at least find someone who did it once. Made a video about it. What program should I use for a 5-page website? Whichever one that you think. Program? You mean like a framework? Do I use any app to organize your work schedule? No, I just work all the time, and then that's good enough. My buddy tells me React will be too much to learn. I don't know. I thought React was pretty intuitive. React or Angular if you're looking to pick something up. You can do Vue if you want. It's just not as in demand in comparison. Can I just say for a second how happy I am that we are at 25,000 subscribers? Like, the thing about YouTube is it's it is much like coding where it's a slow momentum at first, where you want to be so much farther than you are, and then when you get to where you want to be so much farther than there. And it's a good feeling to be at 25,000. I want that 100. I want that 100. I want it. Day one of 100K, I'm requesting my motherfucking play button. I want it. Have I ever got burnt out? There's been times in life, yes. And by the way, I'm still sticking to I'm going to give away 2 4K monitors when I hit 100K. So 2 of you guys are going to win some 4K monitors, get shipped to you. So look forward to that in a year, 2, maybe 3. Now, I've got burnt out. I usually don't get burnt out by coding. It's more so lack of sleep from the coding. Also, I know that I can feel it coming on. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to sit down now. About 2 weeks ago, I felt like I was starting to hit that point of where I was slowly getting burnt out. And the thing about burnout is it's okay. You just have to notice it. You just have to notice when it's happening and make adjustments. So that's one thing is I've noticed myself feeling overwhelmed. That's what it is for me. I feel overwhelmed. And so I'm able to recognize that feeling. And what I do is I go and I play a video game. That's it. My girlfriend notices it too, and she tells me I need to play more video games. She wants me to actually work less than I do. I just enjoy this so much that it's hard to. Now, so I played the campaign of, and I only play for like 20 or 30 minutes at a time in a day. But that is enough for me not to get burnt out. And then I kind of calm down the things in my life stressing me out. It's pretty good. Mac or Windows? I like Windows. High five, baby. Any advice on coding? I gave up like 3 days ago. It just seems I can't do anything myself unless I place the exact same link, the task request. It just sucks. Well, how long have you been at it? Yeah, we're growing by about 2,000 subs a month right now. I think it's like 1,900. So the 24K probably was 2 weeks ago. Why don't you work out? I'm trying to. The problem is that I swim every day almost in the pool to help out. So that helps me out with. But there's something So I've talked about this before, but there's something wrong with my hand. It's constantly inflamed. And it's hard for me to lift with it. And I've gone to the doctor and they've given me pills and they knocked me out for a week. It took me out of my grind for a week. So it's hard for me to lift. And that's what I enjoyed about working out. So I got some gloves recently and I'm going to go back for some more medication to get it handled. Basically, it just extends from overuse. Did I solve the local storage issue with the recipe box? I did. I actually already recorded the video. It's coming out in 2 weeks as well. Have I tried Linux? No. Who's your idol? I wouldn't say I have idols. I have people that I see are successful, and I have people that I see are unsuccessful. And they are as much an idol in terms of recognizing what they are doing wrong and making note not to do that. So I have two types of people, both of which I look up to a degree, because I see somebody I try not to judge, but I see somebody who I could see that their actions have not paid off in the same way that I would. Now, that doesn't mean that they're bad necessarily. Some are, but it does mean that what they want is different than what I want. And if I make that choices, I'll probably have that same result. And then I see the people who are successful and I say, what did they do to get to what I consider success? And what can I learn from them? And how can I surround myself with people like that? So one of the reasons I like interviewing developers and interviewing these people of who I consider of note is because I can pick their brain and I can learn what they think is a good decision and a bad decision. And I can try to I don't want to say emulate, but take what they have to offer and see if I can apply bits and pieces to my own domain of a brain and see how I can improve myself. So if I had to name some people, I don't want to name any people because then it feels kind of weird because I know some of these people. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to come off as a fanboy. Like they are my mentor, and then I gotta go see them and hang out with them one of these times. You know, I look up to you. Like I don't know, it feels like I don't. But there are other YouTubers, there are other developers out there. There are other people that fall into those categories that I value their opinion, and I try to take away what I can. Hey Dylan, what technologies do you think are most expensive of self-taught junior developers? That depends, man. You really just gotta look at the market and see what's out there. I mean, what they teach in school and boot camp. I would say if you want to emulate a curriculum, look at a successful boot camp and see what they are teaching. That's what I would say. To answer that question, because they usually, one of the strengths of boot camps is they can change their curriculum very rapidly to the market, and that's a good sign. I suck at solving algorithms. I can't solve them without watching your tutorials. Should I even continue programming if I can't solve the basic algorithms? Free code camp. Yes, every day. Every day you should continue. It's gonna be hard, man. I sucked at it too for a long time. I still suck at it. I just suck less than I sucked a week before. So I'll give you a perfect example. Every one of those algorithms. So I've been putting out 4 algorithms for about 2 months now and going on for another 3 weeks. 4 algorithms a week from CodeFights. I did 98 algorithms on their site. 98. I spent 6 weeks straight doing algorithms on CodeFights. 6 weeks. That was all I did. All my curriculum, I spent 6 weeks doing nothing but CodeFights algorithms. The 4 hours I'd come home after the day, the weekends, algorithms, algorithms, algorithms. It was hard. It sucked. I did them. I got tested for a recruiter through CodeFights because I noticed I was filling out algorithms, and then I bombed the shit out of that algorithm interview. So don't think that other people don't suck at all and that you just don't get the payoff when you want it. You work hard and you get it eventually, right? I wanted to pass that. I wanted them to want to look to hire me at all these great, amazing companies. And I worked hard, man. I worked hard. 6 weeks, nothing but algorithms, day after day after day. And what I got was failure. But that's okay, because I learned in the process. When you're struggling through those things, you're going to learn, man. You're going to pick up a few things. But you have to struggle. You have to grind. And you may not get it when you want it, but you will get it as long as you keep going. So I understand being frustrated with algorithms because it's hard, man. I understand it. I understand because, I'm used to failing more than I am succeeding. I'm used to failing more than I am succeeding. Now, I am able to succeed because I failed. Because the first time I failed wasn't the last time I tried. The second time I failed wasn't the last time I tried. The third time I failed wasn't the last time I tried. I kept on trying. You guys just think I got my first interview and then I got a job? No, I failed time and time again. I studied. I worked harder. It's none of this stuff comes easy. I've not once ever said this stuff is easy. You can look through all my videos and you'll never see me say it's easy. It's not easy. It gets easier, but it's not easy. There's a reason you're well compensated, and there's a reason that there's some math involved. Another thing, it's difficult. You have to reprogram your brain. You have to think differently. You have to think extremely logical. It's hard, but it's also worth it. And it's fun. I love it. All that sort of stuff. Now, things will get easier, but when you get started, it's like anything else, right? You got to learn the basics, and somehow you have to figure out how to put those basics together. So anybody would, it's like and that's why I compare it to YouTube sometimes. It's because it's like I wasn't always gaining, 2,000 subscribers a month. That to some people may seem like nothing. To me, it's a lot. Do you know, in the first 6 months I did YouTube, the first 6 months, I got 250 subscribers or like 500 subscribers, and I put up about 100 videos. That was the first 6 months of me doing YouTube. So I remember putting up a video and seeing no views and stuff like that. Be okay failing, because you have to fail to succeed most of the time. So when you're struggling through it and you're getting frustrated, it's okay. It's okay. I get frustrated every day, and I'm okay with it, because if I just take it in and move past it, instead of just being stuck and frustrated about being frustrated, you'll do better. How am I doing today? I'm doing excellent. But yeah, man, don't give up. Keep grinding. I understand your frustration, man. Yeah, man. What's the first language you learned? I did one programming class when I was like 20 in Visual Basic. It was awful. And I didn't really learn anything. So I would say Java a couple of years later when I started in my computer science program. So, yeah, man. I understand it being rough, though, man. I do. It's hard, right? And that goes back to, I've said this a couple times now, that it's easy to work hard. Everyone can work hard. How long can you work hard, right? Can you work hard for a year? Can you work hard for a month? Can you work hard for a weekend? So it all depends, man. Sometimes it's a matter of sticking with it, getting better, improving, right? You're gonna look back at algorithms and be like, yo, man, I can't believe I couldn't reverse the string. It's okay. So don't sweat it. Move forward. Don't be afraid to fail. It sucks. It sucks. I'm not going to tell you that it doesn't suck to fail. It sucks a lot. I could tell you I felt like shit when I failed. When I failed that technical interview, that the recruiter was going to either basically throw me to all these great companies I've built relationships with. I can tell you that, like, that's, yeah, it sucks. But am I not going to keep going? Am I not going to keep trying? Am I not going to, you know, take on the situation? No, man, you got to keep pushing forward. You got to study. You say, I didn't get it this time. I wanted to. Sucked. Still sucks. What was the problem? It was a Sudoku problem. It was like you got a three-dimensional array passed in, and you had to figure out if it was a proper Sudoku problem. Like, basically, they passed in all the values, and you had to write an algorithm that checked if it passed all the criteria to be a correct answer for an entire Sudoku puzzle. That was it. I got like 2/3 of the way through it. It was pretty nerve-wracking. You know, they have the person on Skype who they can see you clicking and typing, and you're supposed to decide your thought process. She was very nice, by the way. The person who's doing it was super nice. I have nothing bad to say about the company and the person and whatnot. And mind you, by the way, that was just one of three. That was just one of three algorithms I was expected to solve in the hour, and I didn't solve the first one. It wasn't like I barely failed. I tanked that shit so hard, baby. Oh my goodness, this shit went down so fast. So you just gotta look back on it at fun, and you know, I hate interviews, man, and that's basically what it is, and it's stressful, and especially the whiteboard interviews, man. Get ready to fail at a few whiteboard interviews, because if you're like me, and that's not everyone is, but I freeze up on these whiteboard interviews, man. Let me tell you. So it's, I mean, you can get a million no's in life. Sometimes you only need that one yes, right? And it gets hard. You know, don't think that I'm like this impervious guy who doesn't have those moments where he wants to give up and just scream and yell, and you know, curl up into a ball and cry. You know, I definitely have those moments. I've had a couple. I talked about it in the past where I talk in one thing I talk about in the how I became a developer video is when April and I broke up. I was in one of those moments where even though I was giving it my all, I was questioning myself, and I was just ready to fall apart. And all it takes is one person to tell you, you know, that you're not a loser and that you will get there. It just takes that one person to believe in you. If that has to be me, I will do it. Just keep growing, man, and keep growing as a developer, as a person. You'll get there. So I understand, man. I've been there. It sucks. You know, it wasn't too long ago that I was in a different situation. So I understand. How's the dev job market in Tampa? I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I can tell you that I get emails and phone calls every day. Like every day. Multiple. So I'd say pretty good. I'm also an interesting candidate for a lot of people. I've come to realize. So I don't know if that makes me more attractive or not. I guess it does. I would say it does. I mean, you have somebody, and it's okay to be objective about this, because I'm so passionate about coding, because I'm always learning, because I'm always going to meetups and doing all these things, that I am constantly getting. Naturally, I'm the type of person, a company who wants to build an employee up, which if you're, I have 1 year of real experience and a little before that. It's kind of shady when how you kind of group that, an internship and then working at a software company doing documentation and stuff, that you put yourself, I in terms of years of experience, I don't have that much. In terms of being the right qualities of a candidate, objectively, I probably have that. Have I ever contributed to open source projects? A couple. In terms of reporting bugs and creating tickets and saying, hey, feature requests, things like that. For the most part, man, if you say, have I ever contributed to open source projects? I put all my videos out on YouTube and I have the source code for all of it on my stuff for people to watch and code pins for it. So I don't know if that counts. At the end of the day, if you kind of take what the money you make on YouTube, you're probably making like $3 an hour for the time you put in. So I feel like that's open source to a degree, right? All right, guys. It's time for me to wrap this up. I appreciate you all. To 1,000 new subscribers here. I hope if you're watching this, I hope you learned something about me. I hope you learned something about software. I hope you learned something about yourself at the end of the day. When I like to end these live streams, other than thanking the 25,000 plus now for being here, I'd like to leave on a final thought in honor of the greatest developer of them all, Jerry Springer. All right, so I think it's only appropriate, since we've talked about it, that we talk about failure and not giving up. So let's talk about that for about 5 minutes here. The goal of a developer is to solve problems. That's the goal. And what you're building something to solve a problem, and innately that involves failure. The reason for that is a problem is something failing, and you need to build a solution for success. And you are essentially blazing a path that most of the time has not yet been built. There's resources out there to help you to find that path, more like tools. And it gets easier as you go along. But you will never not fail at everything. If you think that you're going to get a junior developer job or you're going to become a senior developer and there's going to be things in your life you're not going to fail at, that is a very dangerous mindset to have. As you become more successful about whatever you want in life and whatever you want to get out of life, that could be money, it could be dating, it could be whatever it is. There are going to be times you have success because you have trained yourself, because you have worked hard and you've earned that success, and you've got that success because of how hard you've worked. And there's going to be times that you fail regardless of how hard you've worked. And it's as important to be ready for the times that you are successful, to keep yourself in check so that when you get that success, that you don't just stagnate, maintain the same, and you open your horizons and you say, okay, well, Dylan, what now? That was my only goal. And you'll find out that when you get closer and that goal is really achievable, you start thinking about, what can I do next? Because now you know what good success. And when you do that, you're looking for loftier goals. And sometimes you won't hit them. That's okay. Maybe you'll get it next time. But if you're not prepared to accept failure and you're just going to give up, That's a dangerous thing to happen. The second you start giving up in life is the second that you're giving yourself excuses so that when things don't go your way, you just give up again and again and again. And I know it's cliche, but it really is true, right? And that could go for anything. You could say something where it's saving money, right? Maybe you're like me. Maybe you hate the fact that you don't have more than $200 in your bank account. Maybe that causes you stress beyond belief. So now you say, I'm going to save 5% of my check, 10%. I don't care what I have to do to change my lifestyle. But every check, that 5 or 10%, it's going into an Acorns account. It's going into, and then you start making excuses as to why you can't do it. And then you start going back in the wrong direction. I hope that you guys are as prepared for success as you are for failure, because as the great Al Bundy said, love and marriage goes together like a horse and carriage. And the same is true for success and failure. You got to fail to succeed. And when you succeed, sometimes it causes other aspects of your life to fail. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for 25,000 subscribers. There's nothing better than leaving it on a marriage with children. And some of you, you know what? Some of you may not even understand that quote, because I'm 30. I'm almost 30, and some of you like 14 and loving marriage with Al Bundy was off like 12 years ago. Thank you for watching. Shout out to our fans in India, Iran, Nigeria, and everywhere else in the world. I appreciate you guys all. It is a pleasure doing this, and I can't wait to see you guys, hopefully in 2 weeks, for 26,000 subscriber AMA. I do these every 1,000. I appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful day, guys. Look forward to tomorrow's video as well. We got videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Join the Facebook group. Join the Discord channel. Join the Patreon. All that good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.